around, and in the south, we've been dealing with a persistently wet week. We're finishing things off across Tennessee and the mountains of North Carolina, too. We've got some heavy rainfall. The risk for flooding still unfolding as we head into the evening hours. Farther south, we've had some heavy rainfall and the risk for some severe weather. Let's take you to Atlanta, Georgia, though, because maybe we'll get some sunlight before the sun goes down. Here it is across the south where we were highlighting severe weather throughout the day and into the evening hours. There's still a little bit threat left with this, so please be mindful. But the thunderstorms are carving their way to the east. Through Tallahassee, we have had some concern of tornadoes along the central Gulf Coast. That's rapidly coming to an end, but please be mindful if you get those warnings to heed that shelter. Farther north, you can see the rain through the mountains of North Carolina, extending north from the northern Georgia, Atlanta area. That's left most of the rain, at least at this point in time. And it wraps back around into the Ohio-Mississippi confluence there for the rivers near Cape Girardeau. And that's where we still are getting a pretty chilly rain at this point in time. This storm system is on the move to the northeast, but the cold front is on the move to the east. Tonight clears out of the southeast and leaves us quieter into Sunday morning. So Sunday, we're going to wake up to a chillier day across the south and a little windy, but I think we can handle it. Remember, we only get so many cool days in the south throughout the year. 49 in Atlanta with some extra clouds. Nashville coming in at 44. Jackson 52 for you. And as you push your way farther into the southeast, you can see Tampa dealing with some of those showers and thunderstorms. We'll have some stronger thunderstorms towards the east coast of Florida as we break throughout the day. Monday, what's on tap for us? Well, that cold front has cleared southern Florida. Miami now in the mid-60s. And the rest of us holding on to the 50s in many locations, or 40s like Nashville. This is just a touch below historical average, but not overly cold. That's the good news. Mobile, Alabama, we could use a dry break after the past week. It seems like we've had round and round of rain. We're paying for our dryness over summer. And finally, we get that dry break. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all looking good. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for some of the parades that have been going on for Mardi Gras throughout the weekend, but Sunday does look to be pretty quiet for that activity. And then as we get into the core of the week, we are staying at least dry for the start of it. So some great news as we go through a pretty festive season there in Mobile, Alabama. Let's take you a little farther. Ohio, overnight rain largely. There will be some snow to contend with in a few locations. So let's start you off with that radar, because you can see where that rain is starting to surge its way into southern Ohio. Places like Cincinnati already getting in on the moisture. Columbus, too. You've seen the rain. Cleveland has been just foggy and dry, at least at this point, but we will actually get in on some of the rain, too, as this pushes its way off towards the northeast and creates more problems. Beyond that, then, we do have the concern for some snow. We have a couple winter weather advisories in place, winter storm warnings across the northeast, because we will be talking about snow and accumulating snow possible, especially in the higher elevations. This does not include Boston, but Boston, you will actually get in on at least some snow potential. We really have gotten rid of most of the reports from the other day. The good news is not as much flooding coming in with this storm system. One of the things that we had a report of yesterday was Washington, D.C., 80 degrees for that high temperature. That is actually the highest recorded temperature in the month of January. So 80, very warm and unusual for Washington, D.C. Not only was it the highest for January, we've also never hit 80 in the month of December. So 2 monthly records broken, if you will. Of course, this didn't occur in December, but it's kind of interesting that we just don't do it this time of year. 55 in the nation's capital. That's down from close to 60 earlier in the day. We're at 46 in New York City and 40 in Buffalo. We have seen these numbers staying fairly mild, so there's not a lot of cold air, but there's enough cold air that as the storm system comes north Sunday, there will be snow in a few locations. Again, have to be up in elevation to really see that accumulating snow take root as we go throughout the day. That's why Buffalo, we can actually have some rain mixing in. We'll also see that rain mixing in Boston. It's really rain for a lot of the day, snow towards the end. As we go through the overnight hours, more of that cold air comes in on the backside of the storm system. And that's why some places will see the transition to snow. Places like Boston, for example, will get that transition to snow more predominantly. Next few hours, your Sunday morning, you're still looking at rain mixing into places like New York City. It's a largely rain event there. Snow for some of the highest elevations. Cold air starts to tug in Sunday evening. So as we go through the overnight hours, then you can see some of that snow a little bit more intense, but there's not a lot of precipitation left. That's why snowfall totals look to be largely 1 to 3 inches. A place like New York City, little to no accumulation. Boston 1 to 3, highest elevations